Welcome to the next episode of Flintco Talks. It's your boy DanO here in the Austin office, the Flintco Talks studio. And I am super excited about today's guest, Miss Kelsey Rawlings. We have Kelsey in today because Kelsey was a participant on a Flintco mission trip in 2022 with Bridges to Prosperity to Rwanda. So we're going to talk to Kelsey a little bit about her experience. I'm also really excited to talk to Kelsey because I've been selected to go on the 2024 trip, and I cannot wait to hear about your experience. Good morning, Kelsey. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Hey, tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've worked at Flintco and why Flintco, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right now I'm a project engineer in Austin, Texas, and I started with Flintco back in 2019. Did my internship and was an office engineer, worked at UT. Now I'm in East Austin, but yeah, I'm from San Marcos, now in Kyle. Yeah.
Central Texas native. Well, I'm super excited you're here today, Kelsey, for really, first of all, because you're awesome, and we really appreciate you and all the hard work you do for us here in Austin. But also, Kelsey was selected to go on a special mission trip that Flintco sponsored 2 years ago in the spring of 22 to Rwanda with Bridges to Prosperity to be able to build a suspension bridge to connect a village to basically the local market to help get these folks safe passage across what would be a river basin, right?
Yes.
And so I'm super excited because I applied this time and I've been selected to go on the 2024 trip.
So exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to sit down and talk to you and hear a little bit about your trip and what are the things I need to learn and what are my must-haves for my packing list. Let's kind of start like all the way back at the beginning. I remember the Flintco company call when they were talking about we were going to do this. And they said, we're only going to take 10 people, so get in your application. What was your thought when you saw that, when you heard that announcement?
I was like, wow, that sounds like a great opportunity. I'm definitely going to sign up for that. So I signed up for like a support role, and yeah, I was like, I want to go. I'd never been out of the country. Have you been out of the country, like to someone so far?
I have been out of the country. I've been to Africa before. I've been to Kenya.
Oh, okay.
So I've been through some of the battery of shots you have to get, but I'm in the midst of the battery one more time because it's been 25 years since I've been.
Yes, I'm sure you have to get all the shots again.
Absolutely. So I said the same thing when I saw that application. I was like, oh my gosh, I definitely want to go on this. And I think one of the requirements was to get permission from your supervisor. And when my supervisor said yes, I was still super excited, but then I didn't get picked, but you got picked. So when you found out you got picked, like what was it like? Did somebody call you and say, hey, you've been selected, or what was the process like for you?
Yeah, I did get a call, and they're like, so we want you to go to Rwanda to build a bridge. And I was like, no way, this is awesome. Yeah, I was like, okay, well, let me talk to my project manager again to make sure this is still going to be.
Hey, we're still good, right?
Yeah. So, because it's like about almost a month that you're going to be gone. So it was a lot of preparation, making sure like the job is good to go and prepping everything. But yeah, it was getting the call from, it was Kevin Moyes who called was like, okay, you're going to be going, go ahead and get ready. So yeah, I started getting all of like, no, I already had my passport, but I had to get all the shots, start prepping for everything, attend the monthly like calls and figure out what we need to be bringing and yeah, all that.
Yeah, I remember that first call when they're talking about the shots you have to get. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get ready to write these down. Hopefully it's just like 2 or 3. And it's like hepatitis A, hepatitis B, typhoid, yellow fever, COVID, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm going to be at the doctor for like 2 days getting shots, right? My experience wasn't as graceful as Kevin calling me, right? I was working here at the main office, and I just happened to be walking through the kitchen, and Tony D was there. And those of you that don't know Tony D, he is the vice president of human resources for the company. And he looked at me and was like, hey, got a sec? And my heart like hit the floor. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm totally in trouble. Like, I can't believe Tony's asking me like if I need to talk. And he's like, come on into my office and shut the door. And I was like, well, I guess today's my last day here at Flintco. I don't know what happened. But then he told me, he was like, hey, you've been selected. And I was overly ecstatic. I was so excited to get the news, and my mind started racing about what about this? What about this? I need to buy clothes. I need to do this. What am I going to wear? Right. And so we've had some of those meetings and gotten some of those answers.
Well, to be honest, I saw that presentation. I was like, I definitely want to go, but I hadn't put in my application, and I didn't put in my application. And I'd gotten that call, and it was like basically like, you're going.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. So tell me a little bit about Rwanda, right? I've been to Africa, but Africa's huge, right? So what is Rwanda like? Like, what should I expect when I show up there?
So you're flying into Kigali.
Yes.
So that's a pretty big city there. And it is like a hustling and bustling city. And a lot of like the transportation they use is like mopeds.
Oh my goodness.
So whenever you get there, I'm not sure if they're going to have you meet at like the like Airbnb that you stay at. But like you get in, if you show up by yourself, you get into like Airbnb or get into the car, go to your Airbnb, and you're just like, oh my goodness, like everything is like so different. And yeah, it's for me. I'd never been like out of the country. Like, I'd been to Mexico, but nothing like like that.
Never
So,
left North America then.
right.
Yeah. So did they speak English? Like when you got to the airport, could you talk to people, or was they speak Kinyarwanda?
Yeah, Kinyarwanda. Little English, but they pretty much know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And they look at you and you're like, yeah, you don't belong here. Where do you need to go? Because we can get you there quickly.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Oh, that's great. So, like when you were driving through Kigali, like what was it like? You said it was totally different. Like when you think about downtown Austin or Dallas or wherever, Houston, like how did it differ? Did they have high rises? Do they have short buildings? Are the roads really narrow? Are they wide? Are they?
So the roads were narrow. There were tall buildings. A lot of them looked pretty like run down. You know, the infrastructure and everything was there. It's just it was just kind of like old looking, like very old.
Yeah, yeah.
And but like the landscape and everything is so beautiful.
Really?
Yeah. And the weather was beautiful. Like whenever I got there, it just rained because like every day there's like a rain shower, and then the sun comes out and it's like beautiful again. That's why everything's so green and everything like grows really well there. Like they have really good crops there, bananas, plantains, avocado. Like you can get all that there whenever you're working on your site. Just pick some off of the trees. So.
What was the food like? You said there's kind of fresh fruit and vegetables and stuff like that. Like what kind of meats or carbs did they eat?
So when you're driving like past the little villages and stuff, you'll see as far as like meat, there's a lot of like goat and lamb like tied to the trees, and that's like what they'll go into town and trade with is like their livestock. For like their crops and like for any like services and stuff that they'll trade that.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
But yeah, so like the farm animals right there, that's what you're eating.
Oh my goodness.
The crops, like we had fresh mangoes every day. It was so the best mangoes I've ever had.
Really?
And avocados.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited. Like I love mangoes too. Like I remember I've been to Central America, really close to the equator, same kind of thing. It rained every day, kind of around lunchtime, and you knew it was going to rain when the goats started running back up the street to go to cover. But in El Salvador, they had a ton of mangoes too, and I had one like at every meal because they're so good, and they're good for you too, right?
Yeah. Before we went to our the remote village, we stopped and picked up some groceries and stuff, and a lot of it is like rice and noodles and vegetables. And like a meat. It's pretty similar to here, but one of their favorite sauces there it's called akabanga, and it's a hot sauce and it's extremely spicy, but they put it on everything, and I still have a bottle with me that I use
just in case.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I can't wait to try it. I love hot stuff. I love spicy stuff, so I'm gonna definitely have to load up on that. What would you say, like culturally, what it was like, compared to United States or what you were used to? Are the people super friendly, or they kind of look at you and just walk away, or do they greet you? Or
The people are, for the most part, very, very friendly, and just very welcoming. Like, they am very interested in like what you're doing, why you're there, and like especially the kids. They would every like morning we would walk out of the like townhouse we were kind of staying in, is like a little shack, and but there was like a gate in front of it, and we would open those up, and there would be just like a group of people just waiting, and like just wanting to like touch your hair or like feel your skin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And just wanted to like, were just so interested. But they were so nice and very welcoming, and interested in what was going on.
Yeah, I could only imagine, right? Because if you're living in, I guess basically a third world country, right, that there's probably not a whole lot of touristy things to do there in Rwanda. Not that I know of, outside of like the Genocide Museum, right? This is right in downtown Kigali, but I wouldn't think like people come there to tour or vacation or anything like that. So I bet it was maybe a culture shock for them, maybe as much as it was for you being there as well, right?
Yeah.
So what surprised you, like on your trip there? Like, what was the biggest surprise? Like, by the time y'all flew in and got settled and went to where the site was, what was like the biggest surprise that you had?
Oh my gosh, it was just all so new, but I think just going to the like remote village, and it was like the second day after we got there. The first day we stayed in Kigali, and then the next day it was like a 4-hour drive into the mountains, and they call them like sectors. And so the sector that we were in was just very small, and like the village leader had us stay in like his hut.
Oh, wow.
And they like worked out a deal to like help protect us, look out for us if we needed anything, and just like that was pretty, like that was just really cool. And just going to like where we were staying, seeing like our living quarters, and like also meeting everyone for the first time that we were I was going on the trip with. That was it.
Tell me about the living quarters, like king size bed, like really soft mattress, a bunch of pillows. Is that kind of what everybody had, or what was it like?
Yeah, no.
Not so much? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you'll probably be like shacking up with someone, like me and Burgundy stayed in one room, and all the other guys like stayed in their rooms, and it's just little small spaces, like, and you bring your own sleeping bag.
Oh,
and
nice.
Yeah, you just sleep on the floor.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
It's not quite the king size bed I was hoping it was going to be.
And if you're lucky, you have, like, we actually, they pull power from, I'm not even sure where, but we had electricity. So we had lights and a working plug. So we were able to, it wasn't terrible.
Was it the same kind of plug we have here, or was it different?
It was a European plug.
Okay, I need to write that down. That's on the shopping list. European.
Yeah, actually, I'm so glad Burgundy brought one, because I did not think about
that. Oh my goodness. Hopefully it's on the packing list. If not, I'm going to get after Arnold and tell him I need to know what kind it is.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the first day. Like, once you got there and kind of started work, tell us a little bit about the project, a little bit about the site. If it was level, were you over a ravine, or what was the bridge y'all built?
Yes. So once we got closer to where we were staying, you cross like a pretty big river, and then we followed that river up to where we were staying, and then it was about like a 30-minute drive to the project site every day. And the 30-minute drive, I mean, it was maybe like 10 miles, but it was very bumpy roads. It's like, if it rains, you're literally sliding off of, and there's a cliff right there. Yeah, so I hope you're good with heights.
No.
So yeah, it's so the trek to the site every day is something in itself. And then whenever you get there, for me at least, it was about like 300 feet up in the air, the bridge that we were building. It was about 100 meters.
Oh, wow.
And whenever we got there, the concrete supports for the handrails were there already. And so I wasn't, we thought we were starting from scratch. So when we got there, we still had to run the planks and the rebar around the handrails down, and let's see, and then backfill the landings.
Okay.
So I wasn't expecting like all that to be done prior, and I'm glad it was, because the work that we had whenever we got there was still took every bit of like the time that we had to complete it. Yeah.
So how was like working with the team? Like you probably never met any of these people, right? You were the only one from Austin, and so showing up there, like what was the workload like? You said it took almost all the time. What was like the most time consuming thing y'all had to do?
So we would leave like our time probably like 7 a.m. and work until about like 4 or 5, and so it was full work days, and it's just labor all day long. So
Jeez.
And the crew that so for us, there was a local crew working alongside with us.
Okay.
And that was really awesome, like working with them, and they can work so much harder than we could. Like,
really?
Yeah, their pace we could not keep up with. Like when we were backfilling the landings and stuff, like carrying rock by rock up the mountain. They were literally running with rocks on their heads, like, and we could not keep up.
Oh my goodness.
And we couldn't. It was really amazing to see.
So, do they take water breaks and all that kind of stuff like we do here in the States? Like every hour you need to take 15 minutes off and catch your breath? Really?
No.
They just go.
Yeah. Yeah. But meeting all of like the people that I was working with from the States, like that was really interesting, because we were all like coming from like different states and meeting up in Kigali and meeting each other for the first time. It was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool. So what was your favorite memory about working with the team?
I would say us as a team also working with the locals. Like, for example, the like crew leader, like almost like the superintendent for that crew there, he was a little hard-headed on some things, and was wanting to do things like his way and everything. And we kind of like broke him down, and us, and like by the end of it, we were like really good friends. I would say he was like staying with us in the evenings, and we would play, what's it called with the card game? Uno.
Yeah.
Yes, we played so much Uno. We taught him how to play Uno and left the cards there with him, and he was loving it.
Like if playing Uno for them was like super exciting, like what do they kind of do for fun? Like, do they not have card games, or everything's just kind of right there in the village and everything kind of happens in and around there? Or
they're like the kids, they're like balls, playing with balls, and like sports. Soccer is a big thing. Yeah. I'm honestly not too sure. There was like let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of soccer being played around us by the kids.
Think it's worth bringing a soccer ball then?
Yeah, for sure.
A soccer ball and a little pump. I don't want to have the giant ball in my my suitcase, but maybe one that's deflated.
We brought a jump rope, and that was fun. It was like one of those long jump ropes that like multiple people can get in there and jump with. Yeah. They love that. We brought that to the school one day, and one day our like host brought us to the school, and it was like all of the local kids there. and we got to like visit each one of their classrooms.
Oh, wow.
And they all like sang songs for us, and like at the end of it, and danced. It was amazing. That was like the best day ever. They were like just so excited to like show us like what they were learning. We saw like their math on the board and their books, and then at the end of it, we were like jump roping and dancing together. It was so much fun.
Oh, wow. That does sound like a great time. What was the school close to the village, or was it in the village, or was it like okay.
It was in the village.
How many people lived in the village? Do you remember? How many people kind of lived where y'all were?
It's probably a couple hundred people.
Okay.
Yeah. But like this, there's multiple sectors, and that's what I'm calling a village. And like in each sector, there's like a few hundred people in each, and the kids like travel to that school. Like they walk a long time to go to that school.
Oh my goodness. Were they set up like grades like we had, or did y'all not talk about that? Or?
Yeah, it is like grades.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Back to kind of the work, like I'm supposed to be the construction lead on ours, and so I've got a set of plans, and it's about 17 pages long, and I've been reading, and I've read the 150-page manual on how to build a bridge in Rwanda and all this kind of stuff. When it came down to it, was the work really complicated, or was the helper that Bridges to Prosperity provided, were they really helpful in guiding y'all in the process? Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little anxious about that. Being there.
Yeah. So they are helpful. They pretty much lay out what you need to be doing that day, like what's the goal today. But knowing the drawings is helpful beforehand for sure. Like, but like each morning you'll have like your daily huddle with your team, and you'll kind of go over like, okay, what's the plan today? What do we want to get done? Okay, today we want to start laying down all of the planks, start like sliding those towards the center. It is a suspension bridge, right?
Yeah. We're hybrid suspension. So we've got a tower on one side and it kind of goes uphill. It's probably about a 5-meter difference from one side to the other.
Or like today we're going to get all of the rebar and start bending it so that like, and then tomorrow we'll start like laying down the planks. But yeah, it's pretty well organized. I would say like the biggest thing is like counting all of like your tools and everything, and making sure that there's enough like drills for everyone, and washers and anchors and all that.
So the tools that they use is a lot of power tools, or is a lot of it hand tools?
So a lot of it is we had some drills. That was the main thing, but we like torqued all of the stuff ourselves, and but yeah, it was a lot of the same stuff we use here. We brought it with us.
Great. So did you learn any of the local language to be able to talk to the people?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you've been like given like a little pamphlet of some key phrases and stuff.
Yeah,
to
like
learn.
4.
Yeah, those are gonna be good ones to learn, but you'll learn some whenever you get there. Like Marajo, that's hello.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Arnold, who's kind of our sponsor person through Bridges, he's been setting up all our meetings, and he really encouraged us to learn at least 6 or 8 words, whether it's good morning, good night, thank you, please.
They love that.
Yeah.
They love that.
I would think so too, just to be somebody that's from a long way away that took the time to learn, it shows the caring, the curiosity to learn about the language, then be able to speak it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I think the total build time is like 10 or 12 days, something like that. And then at the end, once it's all completed, you had Inauguration Day. What was Inauguration Day like for y'all? Yeah,
so we actually finished one day early, or it was 1 or 2 days. I can't remember now. But so we went into town for those last 2 days that we had free, and we came back for the inauguration. And it was like the whole community there was there, and like like we had, everything was like, right. We had some balloons and
nice.
like all of the workers were there that had helped us up to that point. And like we all walked on it for the first time together, like across the bridge. And that
saying
was
a prayer. You're like, I hope we did this right.
yeah, it was so awesome. It was, all the kids were like running up and down it, like all of the little babies and were there. It was amazing.
So basically, like Bridges to Prosperity goes into these areas and finds villages that are disconnected from maybe the main market, right? And they're generally disconnected by some sort of land feature, whether it's a river or, just a ravine or whatever, right? And the bridge spans that because during the rainy season, it becomes really hard to cross those bodies of water, right?
Right, yeah. So when we got there, we saw what they had been using, and it was like a tree that had fallen down over the river, or that they had positioned over the river, and they were using that to cross back and forth, and like little kids were like using that to cross back and forth to go to school every day and to go to the hospital there. And so it was like a major passageway for them. That's what they were using. So the bridge was a huge improvement for them because they had multiple people die from trying to cross that river a year. And like while we were building it, one day there was 2 people with like a stretcher that they had made with like a little kid they were bringing to the hospital. Like I couldn't imagine them trying to do that, like use the stretcher and cart them across the river over a log. Like it's just definitely improved their quality of life.
Yeah, it's totally different than what we have here, right? And I think we take a lot of that stuff for granted, right? Because you might complain about potholes in the road or something like that, or maybe there's traffic to and from work, but generally we have safe passage to and from work or to your house or to visit your family or friends or anything like that. So it's really, it's I want mind expanding or whatever. It's a learning experience, like going to a third world country and actually seeing what they deal with compared to what we complain about, right?
Yeah, it's very humbling for sure.
It is. So what did you see? Like, I remember like when I went to Central America and I worked on this Methodist church in El Salvador, we worked with 2 guys, 3 guys, same thing. They worked so hard, and like we could try to work as hard as they could and we could not keep up. And there was guys that were 3 times my age working harder than I was, putting in more work than I did. But I noticed that there was, they didn't have a ton of clothes. One of the guys I worked with, Hector, he had like 1 pair of pants and 2 different shirts and flip-flops.
Yeah.
Is what he wore every day. Is it a similar scenario over there where the people, what they have is very little?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so I like plan for like everything. At least this is how it was for me. I pretty much left everything behind.
Really?
Yeah, everything was donated.
Wow, for somebody there in the villages wearing it today, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
And they have fond memories of Kelsey.
Yeah.
What is there any other like memory that stood out to you through the process, or that you wanted to share with us today, or anything else that comes to mind you wanted to talk about?
I think that one thing that will stand out to me like forever was like working with like one of the women there I got pretty close with that was on like the local workforce, and she and I feel like even though we didn't speak the same language, we were like literally talking to each other. And so like that will always stand out to me because I thought that was really special. Yeah.
Is there any parting advice you could give to me? Like, I think we're 35 days before we have to depart. Is there anything that you would tell me that's like, don't forget to pack this, or make sure you take that, or don't do this, or don't do that?
Wear some good shoes. I know you love your shoes.
I do love shoes.
Your good shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, I had
and bring all your medicine and like Band-Aids or whatever for blisters.
Yeah, that was a piece of advice I got from Anthony. I talked to him last fall and I said, hey man, what can you tell me? And he said, make sure the boots you take, you wear before you get to Rwanda.
Yeah, don't try to break in a new pair. I did that.
Oh, no, you did?
Yeah.
So you were looking for a lot of those first aid kits to find the blister treatment for yourself?
Yeah.
Well, it's been awesome having you in here today. I wanted to take just a second and make a plug for donation, right? Flintco and Alberici graciously sponsor 10 employees to go on this trip to be overseas in Africa for over 2 weeks. And our goal is to raise about 13 grand. And so I would make a plug for people to go to our website and check out the link. Feel free to donate. Every little bit counts, right? We need every little bit to be able to raise that $13,000. What would be your plug on why somebody should donate for us?
I would say that if someone's reaching out to you, just help support them. It's definitely like it's a very good experience, definitely like a character building, and is something that's helping someone from out of the country like live a better life. So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to go on the trip, and when I get back, we can trade some war stories. So
yeah.
Thank you so much for being here today, Kelsey. I really
Thanks.
appreciate it.
All right.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
It's been such a